did you say uwu?
I did in fact say
Are we-
uwu, and that is the first thing on the recording.
Hey, we're live.
We're live.
Is that a clue? Is this a clue woo?
A clue woo?
Yeah. Or wait, no, this isn't a guessing video, Tom. What kind of video is this?
Well, on the usual video, when I thought we were doing a bit, on the usual videos, you would have to try to figure out what's true woo.
Oh.
You have to work your way through woo.
Through woo?
Through woo, yeah.
Bree and the blue woo. Hello, this is a Y episode. Zach's here.
I'm here.
RIG is here.
This is a Brian the Blue Woo episode.
And Captain Time is here.
I'm here. I've arrived.
Yeah.
Arrived. I don't know.
A roo.
What else?
That's what Richard Nixon says in Futurama.
Roo-woofle. Oh, Roo-woofle is my favorite recent sci-fi film.
You stop that right now. Not allowed.
So can you imagine the Nixon head from Futurama saying "Aru"?
Aru.
That's as far as I'm gonna reach. That is
the sound that a moose makes. Anyway, this.
All right.
Shout out to Moose, the plural.
Is this another game?
This is a slightly different format from our usual format. This is a Y episode. On occasion, when we're looking for theories, when we're puttering around the internet, we'll find little disconnected things that just feel very strange. And I had one of those moments this week. And I thought that I would share it with you guys. You guys ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if I can ever be ready for whatever you throw at us, but...
Boom. This is long, but it's long because it's the only thing that we have in this video.
It's got Megor the Crew Woo.
Crew Woo.
Megor the Crew Woo.
Varys and Tyrion. I need a volunteer who wants to read this.
I'll read this. Megor the Cruel decreed 4 levels of dungeons for his castle. Varys replied, on the upper level, there are large cells where common criminals may be confined together. They have narrow windows set high in the walls. The second level has the smaller cells where highborn captives are held. They have no windows. Torches in the halls cast light through the bars. On the third level are cells smaller and the doors are wood. The black cells, men call them. That's where you were kept, and Eddard Stark before you. But there is a lower level still. Once a man is taken down to the 4th level, he never sees the sun again, nor hears a human voice, nor breathes a breath of agonizing pain. Megor had the cells on the 4th level built for torment. They had reached the bottom of the steps. An unlighted door opened before them. This is the 4th level. Give me your hand, my lord. It is safer to walk in the darkness here. There are things you would not wish to see.
Okay. This gives me... It sounds as though it's almost referencing The Princess Bride.
All right.
The book, The Princess Bride, not the film. And I can expand on why I think that in a second.
Go for it.
Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I've never read the Princess Bride book. What's that?
Okay.
This is probably a different book to mine for me, but I want to hear yours.
The Princess Bride book is very... I would highly recommend it. I've never read any book quite like it, because it's a sort of meta satire on what even makes fiction worth telling. So the author pretends that he's like abridging a book that's thousands of pages long, and he, like one of the chapters, for example, he writes why he cut that chapter, or he has a whole intro about the stories that he went through and the legal troubles he did to publish it, or he just has all these interjections, and there's a lot of added stuff to the book that just can't ever be in the film, including like there's like a first chapter of a forgotten sequel or whatever. Anyway, that's not related to the point. The point is, in the book, there's this thing called the Zoo of Death that Prince Humperdinck has, and
they cut from the movie. Yes,
they cut it from the movie, and there's 5 floors to the Zoo of Death. But the idea is that Prince Humperdinck is a very adamant hunter. That's kind of his big hobby. But he'll like wrestle gorillas and orangutans and whatever. And he'll each level gets like worse and worse. At the top is like normal stuff that you would hunt if you were a sane person. I don't remember what's at the second level. At the third level is like really fast stuff, like cheetahs and whatever. At the fourth level is stuff like these weird monsters that we never really see described. Like one of them's a black pool that just siphons in water towards the middle, and it's implied that there's some horrendous monster in there, or just these other like sphinxes and mystical creatures. And then at the 5th level is this sort of dungeon that we're told very similar things here. No one who ever goes into it ever comes out alive, and yeah, we just don't know. Now that's where Wesley is taken when he's captured. So he's taken down to the very bottom floor of this progressively worse dungeon, and he's tortured by Yellen, similar to what Varys seems to be insinuating here. He's has that life sucked out of him by that machine, which did make it into the movie. But the idea is that
a great scene.
all these horrible experiments go on down there. Now, eventually, we see our heroes like come in. Indigo breaks down, going through each level one by one. At the very bottom level, there is a dark and thick door, which they go through, similar to this. But they rescue Wesley. Now, the reason I go through all that is not only do I love The Princess Bride, but it sounds as though it's some weird, creepy experiment dungeon, probably where Qyburn is doing weird Frankenstein stuff.
I'm just imagining Qyburn being like, there's a real big difference between mostly dead and completely dead while standing over Gregor Clegane's body.
Yeah, could someone please draw like fan art of
He's only mostly dead.
Okay.
This also reminds me of something as well, and that's Dante's Inferno and the different levels of hell, where the like darker your sin, the worse hell you got, and the deeper down it was. So there was like the hell for all the people who weren't baptized, but weren't Christian, but were otherwise good people, but can't get into heaven because that's just how it works, would be in one level of hell. And then like the people who were less lustful or slothful or gluttonous were underneath. And then we got to the really bad things like the treachery, the betrayal, the stuff like that. You went even further down in hell. And it was worse and worse conditions the further you got down, to the point that it was absolute inhumane torture if you were down there for treachery or betrayal. And that's where allegedly Judas was, if you believe the tales.
I want to call attention. We're starting some good thought processes here, but I want to call attention to something in particular.
Go for it.
The whole thing is extremely interesting. But
Yes.
what I find particularly fascinating is this. The last line. Zach, hit me with that last line.
This is the 4th level. Give me your hand, my lord. It is safer to walk in darkness here. There are things you would not wish to see.
And Zach?
Yeah, that one was the one that interested me a lot, because we hear about what's Casterly Rock and how awful that is. And the Lannister brothers don't seem to be unaware of that. Like, they may have even gone down there when they were kids and like seen the oubliettes and shit and seen the torture stuff. So what is there that Varys doesn't want Tyrion to see? Tyrion would be afraid to see.
And that's
a little bit strange to me.
Exactly what went through my head. That is precisely the thing that got me with this. Tyrion is a dead man. Varys basically has him completely in his pocket. Why
Yes.
why is Varys looking out for the squeamishness of Tyrion? There must be something in there that either Varys doesn't want Tyrion to see, or that Varys doesn't want to see Tyrion.
Or yeah,
Okay.
or it's like there's actually incriminating stuff down there.
Yes,
I have a dumb
that's
answer.
what I was thinking.
I have a very dumb answer.
I love dumb answers.
Varys just was coming up with an elaborate story as an excuse to hold Tyrion's hand.
That is a dumb answer. Can I get tinfoil?
Varys is desperate for a hand.
Oldest trick in the book there, Varys.
Hang on.
Ooh, it is a little freaky out, isn't it, Tyrion? Don't worry, I'll hold your hands. So this is the classic taking somebody to a horror movie so they like get close to you trick.
Wow.
We see right through you.
Woo.
Through
Through
we see through you.
So
What
on
a
a barely-
nightmare tableau we've made.
Yes.
I know. I've been trying not to look at it. On a slightly like still tinfoil but less insane theory, I almost want to play into the Varys mermaid angle because I know that theory makes too much sense. I could probably rant about it, but if you keep reading, I have the text pulled up to the next few pages, but it basically points out that Varys can see in the dark. Tyrion can't see anything, but Varys is guiding him, noting the steps. So either he has the place memorized, or Varys can see in the dark, which is a little suspicious. But what type of stuff that would Varys not want Tyrion to see? Well, if there's like that sewer system underneath the castle that he uses to get around, like we do see in A Game of Thrones when he pops out like in front of Arya, the ones, as well as when he disappears into the sewer. Remember? Sorry. As well as if he's using that system to get around, as a lot of the Varys mermaid theories have, then there's probably something there, or maybe it's like Illyrio nude chilling there. That would just be horrifying.
Protect the secret. Saying like he's keeping some of his passageways and some of his routes secret from Tyrion at this last moment. So I have a weird one. I have the kind of weird one. So not to give the show credit, but to give the idea credit because it's fun of keeping somebody trapped as a way of just torturing them, just locking them up in the dark in a box just forever. Wouldn't it be interesting if Varys has a person or two that he truly hates just locked up down there where no one ever goes but him? And he's just keeping that secret from not only the person who's locked up, but from Tyrion. Like, who knows what he does down there in the dark.
That's an interesting take. Why there's no reason to keep anybody secret from Tyrion unless Tyrion would recognize them, or unless they're like a major political player.
That's
Tyrek Lannister.
I think it keeps you a little secret. It keeps you a little secret as an individual. Tyrion doesn't know that you're the kind of person who would trap somebody in the dark forever and keep them, chained up in a corner and provide them with food or whatever. But I would say that what if it is somebody that Tyrion would recognize? I mean, if we want to truly freebase, let's say it's Garyon Lannister, but I think it could
or
be
Tyrek.
Tyrek could legit be down.
Wait a minute. I think we solved it.
I don't know if that's the solution, but Tyrek could be down there, and Tyrion would immediately recognize one of his relatives.
Yeah.
Now I think
Tyrek would immediately recognize Tyrion.
Varys would have motive to keep him down there, if it's shaky motive still.
He's a bargaining chip. Yeah.
And he's killing Lannisters basically, directly and indirectly.
he has
Yeah,
the next...
him having a Lannister who stands to possibly inherit someday is just a benefit to him. He can bargain if like Tyrek's the legit heir to Casterly Rock at some point, which is actually not that far from becoming true at this point. He could bargain his way into Casterly Rock by saying, "Hey, you're the rightful heir. I'll get you there safely if you make all these concessions."
And that's why he's keeping him from saying Tyrion, is because if Tyrek knows Tyrion's still alive, that wouldn't hold weight. Basically, because everyone's going to think Tyrion's dead, and then Varys can produce Tyrek. But if Tyrek doesn't see Tyrion, then he wouldn't know, right? So that makes sense as far as a theory.
Yeah, actually, this tracks to me very well. I had been thinking, what if it's the stitched together corpse of Ned Stark? But Tyrek tracks much better.
I was also thinking it could be something with like a sleeping dragon or something, but like Tyrion Dragon Rider theories and whatnot. But Tyrek tracks so well that maybe it's not true, but like I feel like that's the best answer, and I love it.
I don't know if that's the only answer, and there's certainly other things to be going down there, but I think there isn't actually torture down there. Varys just keeps his high priority political prisoners down there. Is a good answer. It could also be where his little birds live in their day to day, and he doesn't want hard confirmation that his little birds are a real thing.
That could be the case. That's an interesting.
They gotta sleep somewhere.
Little birds is even more. I like that more than that's what a little birds return their nest.
I'm sorry, RIG, you sound like you are at the bottom of an aquarium.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you hear me better now?
That's much better, much better.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I almost like little birds better than Tyrek, to be honest. I think that being the bird's nest is kind of a fun theory.
Okay, compromised Tyrek is a little bird.
That's possible, actually.
The little birds were two Tyreks in a Tyrek suit. They were doing the Vincent Adultman.
I like Tyrek with Littlefinger better because I think that there's strong evidence for Littlefinger organizing the riot. But I like I like Bird's Nest. That's a fun one.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out. This is pretty much the long and short what I wanted to talk about, right? It's weird, right? It's weird.
It is very weird
that Varys is hiding things from Tyrion Lannister. And I think that Tyrek Lannister and or his beehive, right? His bird's nest. I think that both of those are good answers.
It's a good logical base to hold the bird's nest, but it's also a logical base to hold high-value political prisoners. So I read the rest of the passage that this was from, and it doesn't really tell us much more. Obviously, they walk through. Varys has a key to the end, and then there's a 5-way fork, and they go to a place that Shay had told Tyrion about, which was below the Tower of the Hand, and then they come out by the river where we saw them go out in A Game of Thrones, which does lead to the Varys mermaid theories as well. But that's like the rest of it. It doesn't really tell us anything except for Varys knows the passages very well.
All right, what am I titling this? Am I just titling it "We Found Tyrek" in all caps?
You won't
believe.
You won't believe. Yes. No, I think Varys' secret chamber is probably the better answer because we know. I think we're all in agreement. Varys is hiding something down there and is using the horrifying torture happens here as a cover story. So Varys is hiding something there. Is there something we didn't think of, commenters?
Varys Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's our show. Random Internet Guy, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube by typing in Random Internet guy. That should get you over to my channel.
And Captain Time.
Even easier to spell than RIG. It's just Captain Time. Captain Time Stories. Look it up. Right there.
At this moment, Captain Time is fast approaching 1,000 subscribers. So go
Yeah, make
subscribe to
sure you
Captain
I
Time.
am. 838.
Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on this ridiculous little trip. Everybody say goodbye. I'm going crazy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, woo woo.
Goodbye.